Hey, what's up everybody? This is Like It's 1985, and today we are going to take a look at the Transformers third-party iGear MW-05 COGZ figure, aka Generation 1 Gears. So first, let's have a quick look at packaging here. Pretty nice glossy box here. The figure does come packaged in vehicle mode. And the figure does come with this collector card, which is on a durable plastic, almost like a credit card plastic. Really nice. Alright, so let's get to the figure itself. Well, the figure does come with one weapon, which is this weapon right here. You can see nothing too fantastic, but it does come with that weapon there. And let's talk about the design element here. Now, this figure has a very unique design element in that it looks like a very cartoon accurate type of figure, which means it kind of looks a bit cartoony as compared to, let's say, a movie line figure or a Classics Universe figure. But that is not necessarily a bad thing. But I will say it does look a little bit like a Tonka truck type of figure. It has that kind of quality to it. But that doesn't mean it's a bad figure. It just means that it may not fit well into your Classics, Universe, or movie line shelf. So it rolls really well. No problems there at all. And we can take a close look at the detail here. Do a little 360 around the truck mode here. Lots of robot parts here showing head and arms, but that's okay. So, size comparison and visual comparisons. Well, let me bring in a very dusty Classics Mirage. So you can see there. You can see the design, this feels more cartoony, whereas this is more realistic, so to speak. So you do have that, but you kind of get an idea of the size and just how it would appear on a Classics Universe shelf. So there's that, and then from the latest movie line here is High Octane Bumblebee. So again, just an idea of the size and the style comparison. Alright, so let's go ahead and transform COGZ here into robot mode. Now the first thing I do is I take the back end here and split it apart. And then what you want to do is rotate out this section down or back so that you bring out the leg and extend it out. Now this part, for some reason, I'm not sure if I'm doing quite correctly because you have to extend out the leg, it tends to clash with this piece of plastic here, so I kind of have to do this at an angle, kind of like this, and then trying to bring the leg out like that. That seems like that's the best thing to do. Again, I could be doing it wrong, but I find that's a little bit easier and a little bit less plastic clashing is involved that way. So there we go, extend out the legs, and then there are our feet here you bring out. Oops, gotta go the other way, I think. There we go. So there are the legs, pretty simple there. Then there actually are the arms here. You want to take these on either side and kind of unpeg them from the side here. You can see they tab in. That kind of allows you to get over here. And then this is the part I missed when I transformed this without using the instructions. There are these little bits of plastic here. These panels here will actually rotate like that, and you can see they actually are missile pods there. Same thing over here. Rotate this up so that it's kind of about in that position on his upper waist, lower torso. And that allows you actually to articulate the leg as well. Without that piece being transformed, you kind of clash against that plastic. So that's one part I missed during the first time I just transformed it without the instructions. So then, what you're supposed to do is you want to bring down this piece here so that the shoulders and the arms look more normal. They shouldn't be this high, so you kind of want to bring them down to about like that. Actually, rotate the piece rather. So, rotate this down like that. And finally, and actually before you actually rotate that bit down, what we want to do is take this section here, and this is going to rotate around This is the other thing I missed too during my first attempt to transform it without the instructions. This should rotate around. There we go. It's a little bit tight. So rotate this around and get anything out of the way that you can. So there we go. And now you can bring down the shoulders like this. So we have this silver part facing forward, kind of at his chest level there. So there he is in robot mode. And you can see it actually is on a hinge there that articulates up and down. So there is that. So as far as articulation, the interesting part about this figure also, it actually has two head sculpts. So it's on a swivel. So as we rotate this all the way around here, you can see the secondary face there. So you have that kind of look there. Or how it came packaged in is like this, with eyes and a mouth and a nose kind of sculpted into the head sculpt there. So either one. I'll go ahead and rotate it back here to the second head here. Kind of cool, a little more robotic looking. So you do have the swivel there. You have kind of these bits that go like this and around, and then you have shoulders on a swivel here. Well, I guess if you count that as a shoulder, I guess, or a bicep, but you can see there you got a swivel there, a ball joint there. Below that there is no articulation. Waist, you have a waist joint right there, and then you have hips, of course, swivel at the thigh, a bend there, and that is all you have for articulation for the COGS figure here in robot mode. Okay, so for this size comparison, here is COGS with Bumblebee and Reveal the Shield Jazz. In terms of the overall height, I think he fits in pretty well, although just in terms of the design aesthetic, I don't know if he fits in too well. Again, it goes back to that kind of like cartoony look to him in terms of the design. But you can see overall in terms of size and height, he is pretty well compared to the two figures. Now this may be an odd or gratuitous size comparison, but with MP10 Prime and Streak around him, I think he fits pretty well in terms of scale, especially if you watch the cartoon. In fact, I watched the G1 cartoon Season 2 episode called Changing Gears. And Gears in that episode came up to only about the knees of Optimus Prime, and only about the waist of the car formers like Sunstreaker and so forth. So he's about the right scale, maybe just a little bit too tall, but you can see as far as just overall design, he's a little bit on the cartoony side again. So I don't know if he quite really fits into the Masterpiece line up here, but in terms of the overall height, he's close. Now, I got this figure basically for $30. And when I say basically is because on Big Bad Toy Store, they had them as a set for two figures for $60. So effectively, I got the COGS here for $30. Now, there was a listing on Big Bad Toy Store for COGS only for $60. And I'm not sure what's going on there with that, because it would make more sense to get two figures for $60 as opposed to just one figure. I don't know if there's a difference between this COGS that I got for $30 versus the one for $60. Perhaps, I'm just guessing, maybe the $60 COGS is maybe a darker color blue and darker color red. Maybe you guys who are watching this review know if that is actually the case. Well, thanks for watching. This has been my review of the third-party iGear's COGS figure.